Okay, welcome again. It's our discussion segment. So good morning, Anambra. Welcome. I'm Ijoma and I'm still here with AJ.
Yeah, good morning. Welcome to the discussion segment.
Okay, in this segment, we are going to look at, of course, must have seen the situation of things now that the weather has changed. We are now in rainy season, a whole lot of things, thunderstorm, and we're going to look at how we're going to manage our lives and our environment to make sure that we are safe wherever we are. And as we have raised this topic, combating desertification in changing climate. Okay, and this is to commemorate the 2025 World Day of Combat Desertification and Drought. All these environmental issues that we need to tackle. Okay, and we have experts that have joined us to look at that. The first person is Mr. Wilson Abam. Mr. Wilson Abam is the State Coordinator, National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, NESRA, Anambra State Field Officer. Good morning, Mr. Abam.
Good morning.
Okay, you're welcome to our studios this morning. Yeah, AJ, who is the next person?
Also joining us this morning to discuss desertification, we have Honorable Bridget Obi, Anambra State former Commissioner for Women Affairs. Good morning, Honorable. It's a pleasure having you.
Good morning, and good morning everyone that is watching.
Okay, you're welcome. Honorable Bridget Obi is actually representing Barrister Chikarita Ukwosa Foundation, BCROF. We welcome you again to our studios.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Mbam, let's start with you. What is desertification? Let's start with that so that we get our people know exactly what we are talking about.
Desertification is land degradation in arid, semi-arid, and subhumid areas resulting from climatic variation and human activities. Or in a simpler way, you can say desertification is a process whereby a fertile land of the earth is transformed into a desert due to natural activities and anthropogenic activities.
I think I picked the second, the second definition because the other one was too technical for us. Okay, whereby a land hitherto that was greenish and good and habitable, all of a sudden it started disappearing due to human activities. Is it just due to human activities?
No, I said due to natural activities
Natural,
and human activities. Yeah, that's natural factors. And
like,
human activities
like droughts.
Drought, yeah.
Okay,
high temperature and rest of
high
them.
temperature,
Yeah,
yes.
low rainfall, wind change and rest of them.
Low rainfall.
Yeah,
What
low
does that mean?
rainfall.
How does it contribute to desertification?
Well, once there is low rainfall, the moisture of the soil will be reduced. And if there is evaporation, plants will begin to die. Well, once plants die, the soil will be, that is, the land will be vulnerable to erosion.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually, that brings in last year. You know, last year, rain stopped in October, and rain didn't return until nearly end of April. So if you look at the vegetation, nearly everything died because there was so much scorch and heat. So nearly, and the only thing that survived so much as a farmer is the cassava.
Yeah.
Every other plant gave up.
So is that why we're having food shortages?
Of course, yes.
Now, talking about the human factor and the factor, now you talked about the natural factor. So how can human beings contribute to desertification in those areas that are prone to having?
The anthropogenic factors. Now we have faulty irrigation, where you see people pumping water from shallow rivers and shallow streams. At the end of the day, the water will be finished, no water for the plants again, so the land will become dry.
Where do they pump it to?
Maybe for farming and the rest of it, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, but they pump water from
Natural sources.
Yeah,
Natural sources.
from shallow rivers. And seas, and lakes. Yeah.
And also dam. When you create dam, can actually take the original,
Water,
the streams off.
Okay. So apart from that, what other ones do you want to mention?
Overgrazing is there.
Overgrazing?
Yes, overgrazing of livestock, eating up the grasses. At the end of the day, the land will be exposed to erosion. We have deforestation, that is indiscriminate felling of trees and clearing of bushes, which also exposes the land. We also have bush burning, that's uncontrolled burning of the bush. So they are numerous. Well, let me
Which
just
one
stop
is
here.
drought?
Yeah. Sorry?
Drought.
Drought, when we talk of drought, we mean when there is no rainfall for a prolonged period of time, thereby resulting in scarcity of water.
Everywhere gets dry now.
Yes, yes.
All right.
Still talking about the National Environmental Standards and Regulation. That is your agency, that is NESRA. Now, where does your agency come in order to make sure that we don't lose all arid, all fertile land to, desertification and the rest of it all?
The agency came up with, to combat desertification, the agency came up with regulations.
Okay.
Yeah, National Environmental Desertification Control and Drought Mitigation Regulations 2011. It was signed into law in 2011 to ensure compliance to the provisions of the regulation and other land uses too. So that's where the agency comes in.
Yeah. Now, when we know desertification and the rest of it all, we all know that one of the best means to arrest desertification is by planting trees, grasses, and the rest of it all. But statistically, we are losing more ground, you understand, to desertification in the northern parts of this country. Does it mean that NESRA is not doing enough in order to create awareness on the need to plant trees so that we don't lose?
We go into awareness creation.
Okay.
We sensitize people on all these areas too. Like, we know that, in fact, to be honest with you, the extent and severity of desertification in Nigeria has not been known fully.
I was actually going to ask you,
Yes.
can you give us a sample of where we are experiencing this desertification in Nigeria?
That's what I want to tell you now.
Yes.
We are experiencing desertification we have frontline states in Nigeria. We have Kebbi State, Sokoto State, Zamfara State, Kano State, Yobe, Katsina, Gombe, Jigawa, Adamawa, Bauchi.
That's about 13 states.
No, 11. 11 states.
Okay.
11 states. So, the government came up with a strategy called the Great Green Wall. The Great Green Wall.
Yes.
Yeah, the Green Wall it's like a wall of trees surrounding the Sahara Desert. The aim of the Green Wall is to counteract the effects of climate change, then to project and enhance wildlife, and also stop or avoid deforestation.
Further.
Did it work?
Yeah.
Did it work?
Great green.
Sorry?
Did it work?
Yes, it's working.
They are reclaiming.
For how long now?
I think that of the Green Wall started, so it should be over 15 years, over 15 or 20 years now.
Oh, okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, Honorable Bridget, let's, having established exactly what this desertification is all about, let's now look at how the climate change, the acceleration in climate change, how it's causing this desertification, so that we know what to do.
All right, thank you so much. So when we excuse me. When we come to climate change, it is a global phenomenon, and as we are all witnessing the changes in climate, the melting of the ozone layer, we are high temperature, and sometimes also a shortage of rain or much rain. It can actually come. Sometimes we have this, since Nigeria has been having a lot of flood. And this flood, you can know the hazard. All of them are some of the things that we were not experiencing before. So climate change is global, and apart from like I said, desertification is part of that nature that some places are already how you call them the Sahel region. When you get there also, it goes further to northern Africa, where you have sand dunes and everywhere is just sand. Occasionally you find tree. But the human nature, if you go to North Africa, there's a lot of introduction of maybe artificial lakes, artificial rainfall. Sometimes even we can understand that some time ago that in Abu Dhabi there was this, they created this artificial rain, and when the rain fell, it came with, you know, when you do something that is against nature, it will also come with its own. Yeah, so it destroyed a lot of things. So what we are saying is that climate change is real, but we that are found on this planet should be able to manage the changing climate by also devising means to not add to it, because many of those things are also is us that are living here that are contributing to some of the things that are happening with nature.
Okay, how do we contribute apart from felling the tree? There are some of these cases are natural phenomena that you cannot stop.
Climate change. May I come in?
Okay, you can come in briefly.
Yeah, human will contribute to that. Like this open burning that we do now. Open burning, like my agency is against open burning, because when you burn a substance, it liberates CO2 gas, carbon dioxide gas. And carbon dioxide gas is a
open burning is just burning things out there.
Yes,
you know?
yes. Open burning.
That is the smoke. Even the vehicles that are, you can see a vehicle that is emissions. There's a lot of emissions, and they are evaporating.
They liberate greenhouse gases. And now these greenhouse gases, one of their characteristics is they retain heat. So when heat from that is the infrared ray from the sun comes now, maybe when the greenhouse gases are much, instead of the heat now to go back, it will begin to move to polar regions where it is cooler, thereby melting the ice. At the end of the day, it will result in flooding, or where there is so much heat, evaporation will take place, the area will become moistureless, no moisture, plants will begin to die. So the effect of climate change is still severe too.
Yeah, it's still severe, but apart from, like I said, apart from desertification, which could be man-made, some of these things are natural phenomena. Where do we contribute? Bush burning, ruled out. Yes. Other areas where we contribute to desertification.
Another area again that man comes in, like I said, felling of trees.
Okay.
Deforestation is also there too.
Felling and not planting.
Yes.
Felling and not planting.
Yeah, not planting.
Okay. Now, Honorable Bridget, you're an agriculturist from what I understood from what you just said now. So let's look at how desertification affects agriculture, food security, and rural livelihoods. How does it affect us?
So when you see a place with desertification, it lacks water. Yes. And also the sand, it has a lot of sand. Sometimes sand dunes are brought from the wind or something like that, you know, to fill the place. So in fact, you will all know as a farmer that the land that grows plants must be balanced. So when the land is bare of water, nothing grows there. And when the land is just sand dunes, nothing grows there. So the land that nurtures trees, nurtures plants, has, you know, loamy and it needs water to grow. So the effect of climate change or desertification is that as much as we just have to start to reclaim the land for planting, you know, and just like when you go to developed countries, you see some of their lands, you cannot even use it because their land, because of the time of their winter and the kind of climate that they have, but they import soil. You understand? They have certain technologies that can grow food. For example, today you talk about growing things in bags, growing things in plastics, growing things, you know. So in such places, you can actually grow things, but you have to import, introduce innovation, so that, yeah, like things like irrigation. You must have irrigation because without irrigation, you can't have plants. And you must have a balanced soil. So you can import soil to those places and then use them, maybe grow things that can actually, we call those ones smart agriculture, things that don't have long time of maturity, things that can grow within 3 months, like potatoes, like vegetables, and sauce and sauce. So in a desertification place, we reclaim, and we can also use import soil to be able to, get food within those areas. Then the things when you also call about water is very, very important. So you can also create artificial lakes. And when lakes are created within those places, it can be very expensive, but for life that is there, you need to do them.
Okay, now, you said a whole lot. And now you say you can. Is it an individual that will do this, or is it government that should? Now, citing what other people have done, like you made mention of other advanced climes. In China, the one I know for sure, they are turning their deserts into oases, you understand? Whereby they plant, they build solar panel to harvest the energy of the sun, because they said in the desert, the sun is plentiful. So why waste it? Yes. So they don't waste it. They plant solar panels. Then underneath the solar panels, they now have smart agriculture that is growing. Because now the solar panels are preventing direct sun on hitting what is being planted under. And within time, they said in 10 years that virtually every desert in China, because China has one of the biggest population, they are having shortage of land. So they want to turn all those deserts into habitable, you understand, usable land, reclaiming the land from desert. Now, we have the same issue with the north, the northern part. You just talked about 11 states, the green wall. I've not seen anything green wall actually happening. We are talking about food shortages in this part of the world, and nobody is thinking, nobody is proactive on how to, increase our food production. Nobody is talking about increasing our electricity generation by having solar farms in the northern place where sun is so plenty. So does it mean that desertification is more like something we are not catching in on the benefit, while others are doing something marvelous about it? We're just here crying, okay, we are losing land, but what can we actually do? What can the government do to harness this so that we can be better off than this? Because we have it abundantly here. Abba.
The government, like I said earlier, the government came up with some strategies to combat desertification. I've mentioned that of the green wall.
We've gone past that. Converting it to now, apart from reclaiming, we need to do better than what it is.
Can I just come in there?
Yeah.
You see, it's just unfortunate that our government depends on crumbs from other countries to come, or World Bank, or all these, to loan money, donor agencies to come and fight their fights. Until these things are captured, I know about the Great Green Walls. When that money that was donated for the wall, for the planting, when it gets finished, government will just put their hands up. They are not. Okay. They do not initiate it. No. It is being funded. It is an international. It is being funded by United Nations.
I think UNDP.
Yeah, United Nations. That is the money for environment. That is where the bulk of the money comes. And then when the money gets dried up, let government pay their own counterparts. They will still be dragging. They want foreigners to come and do the job for them. So that is where we are. Until we that owns this place are able to capture these things in the National Assembly, have budget line on them, and it is our fight. Whatever it is our fight. And if anybody that wants to help us can come and help us. Not people helping us and then we relax and we are living in homes that are 100 billion, when things that are,
that pertain to life. Is not taken care of. Is not being taken care of. So the environment, look at also, like in the south, we may not be talking about desertification, but we also have our own erosion. The erosion yesterday also, there was certain places I went to Oka yesterday, and you discover that even though we say we don't have land, the little we have, erosion is dragging.
Wherever you are going to live in Oka now, you are either living below the sea level, because erosion has actually, taken And if you go there to no plants, because the earth, it's just about the red earth, until you also cultivate it, until you also harness it, until also the human nature goes there to help it by planting trees, by nurturing those trees, and it now become a forest. So we have to do something and do it fast. As a government.
Yeah. Thank you.
As a government, then as
individuals. And community.
As individuals.
Yes.
As individuals.
Government, community, and individual. We are
Okay,
all
you wanted
part
to
of
come
it.
in there.
As individuals, we can adopt tree planting culture.
Okay.
Yes, like on your birthday now, you plant a tree, or even your wedding anniversary, you plant a tree every year. It will go a long way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I planted 2 trees on the day of Environmental Day commemoration.
Where? In your house?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
The good thing about tree planting is
and it's an economic tree anyway. Very
fine.
soon you start making money from it. So it is not it's not a wasted something. When you plant cashew, when you plant a palm, but very soon you will be it has return on investment. Yeah. So let us look at trees. In fact, when I had a sensitization with women, I told them that most of the palms we have were the ones planted by our grandfather or grandmother. They are so tall, their yielding has reduced. Why can't we actually do something that those people did? Mm-hmm. You are taking the ube that you are licking and doing like this is the one that your mother-in-law planted or your great mother-in-law planted. So we don't have this generation should actually be able to answer to the environment.
Honorable Bridget, now you're talking about this generation. Somebody said that education is not all, because our grandparents, like you're talking about, didn't have the education that we had. Yes. You understand? Yes. But they did things that actually protected Mother Earth.
Of course.
But with our education, we are more like destroying.
Bulldozing everywhere.
We are destroying.
Take it off.
Now, this was a case, you understand, a case in point we had not too long ago, where we're talking about state governors, you understand, giving out land for estates to be built. Is that not killing Mother Earth? Because these animals that are already living in those forests or wherever, those densely, forest cultivated areas, you understand? Yeah, exactly. So when you begin to do this thing, is it not affecting the mother nature? One, Anambra State is not even too fantastic when it has to do with land, because for erosion, just like Honorable said not too long ago. Is there a way agencies like yours can come and now tell government, please, we need to have conservative areas where natural
agency has a regulation on biodiversity also.
Yes. But you driving along Anambra from here to Oka, you see estate everywhere. So what happens to where animals natural park
what happens to agriculture?
You understand
that brings me in. You see, the other day we had interface with His Excellency, and we're saying communities don't have farmland anymore. We don't have. Everybody has fenced. Those that have money, some went and took 100, 200 acres of land and fenced it and locked it and went to Obodo or live in Lagos. And people are in the village looking for a place to farm. So they have shared, or what do you call the land grabbing? The land has been grabbed. In Oka, for example, a plot of land in Oka now goes for 25 million.
It's horrible. 30
million. Somebody called me and said one plot is 65 million in Oka. Mm-hmm. And I said 65 million. Mm-hmm. So which means that
the houses. That's why when they build, you can't rent.
So you can see that we are in a critical moment.
We might not be talking about desertification, but the one that is worse than the desertification
is here.
That's exactly that takes me to my next
as far as I'm concerned, talking about desertification is far away. We can use our own, as if we are coming from desertification into what
That's
that
exactly. I
affects
said
us.
let's come back to our
Our
communities
own
and
communities.
stakeholders because
Yes.
we don't have any deserts here. Though we have a challenge with the what do you call the erosion menace. But
landslides,
then there are other things
floods.
that we need to do to make sure that we live good in our own environment. And that is why I want to ask you this, Abam. What role can local communities play in halting desert spread? Oh no, what do you call erosion spread, not desert? Because now we are told that some of our activities, our own activities, individual activities, are contributing to this erosion menace. Okay, you build house, you seal it up. There is no way the land takes water. Every water that comes to your compound goes out and forms flood, and the flood gets and starts washing off everywhere. What role are we going to be? Secondly, how can traditional land practices to land be restored? How?
See, everything boils down to tree planting. Because like this our area now, where once we have much trees or plants, the roots of the plants or the trees will hold the soils very well. So erosion will not take place. And so long as there is vegetation cover, erosion will never
wash.
Yes, even the water, even the rain falls, the
trees holding the soil,
yes,
it will not erode.
So erosion would be very, very minimal. But once there are no trees, the land is prone to erosion. So tree planting is a solution to that.
Okay.
That's not more than
solution,
just tree planting.
A cost solution, that is cost-effective solution. Because there are other ways people go about building terraces, building stone walls in order to create a channel where the water now goes.
Drainage.
Not just
drainage. The green areas. The green areas. Stone walls.
So that the water will have a channel. You understand? That one is very, very expensive. But now talking about the trees, how much more can we entrench that in the mindset of what?
I'll be honest question. This is a studio. Every morning you campaign that. You create awareness. It will go a long way too.
I think that
that your office say that you should go and tell people what to do. Then
I
should leave what my office asked me to do and start doing your own job.
No, I do my own job.
No,
every
what
Thursday,
you're telling me to do is your
we
job.
go for awareness creation every Thursday.
Where?
We go to markets, we go to faith-based organizations, Sundays and the rest of them. We do that every Thursday.
I've never seen you in my church.
Even if you go to Amansi,
can I just say something?
Okay,
I think that the environment is not left for any institution to do.
It's for everybody.
I think it's for everybody. And I believe that we have to go back to the school system and start to catch our children, forming environmental clubs where children will actually know the impacts. So when they grow up, the Bible says that teach them the way they should go, and when they grow, they will not depart from it. And when you go to developed countries, they do these things at the primary level. In primary schools, they bring it in. As the children are learning, they also know how to keep their environment, their homes. I could remember in the kind of farming, when the traditional way of doing farming, when you farm, you have to put bond. You bond your farm. Then when the rain comes, it sustains, it remains, the water remains in the farm. It helps the farm. But today, all this culture controls the movement of the flood. Water cannot go out. And if there's no rain in 3 weeks, the more rain that has been retained, the older people
was that the reason for that?
Yes. So if you are cultivating, unless or there are crops that doesn't need much water, then you can now give it. If it is rice, they will do one portion, they will bond it, they will do so that as the rain is falling, the rain is being it is retained, because as much as it is retained, it makes the crop grow. And two, even when they are sweeping, when in your family house, when the woman is sweeping, he knows the place that is down. He knows the place that is up. Those that is down, he will sweep from the places that is up to the place that is down. So these are natural ways. The community we are taking care of. Immediately you see that this place is going, that there's erosion, water is going. You see somebody coming out to make sure that the erosion does not start in his home. But
It
now
blocks it.
nobody cares. Everybody is in a hurry, chasing money. At the end of the day,
And living city life.
And living city life. So it's really something that people will be intentional about their environment.
Oh,
Talking
thank you.
Okay.
Planting trees,
You wanna come?
planting economic
Okay.
trees is, is not only for you, but it is for generations. And it is also assures food security.
Okay.
Okay, then thank you so much, Honorable. Let us, at this junction, call for our street walk where we interviewed our street parliamentarians, you understand, on the said topic. Let's hear from them, and then we'll come back and then we'll begin to wrap up. Don't go anywhere. The show continues after this break.
These estate companies will stop them from destroying most of the plants, and also to bring space, to create space so that we can be planting maybe vegetables and plantation and all that. It will even help to develop our state or country.
They should just keep cultivating, keep the land going. If there are weeds, if there are trees, they should cut those things down, you understand? Just keep it going, keep the land going. Don't just abandon it. Do you get? So to avoid all this unnecessary stuff like you just made mention of.
Draws me back to what we call deforestation. When we did our geography back days in secondary school, a lot of actions that we take. But the problem we have is that we have minimum space. We have no. In fact, there is limited land. Like now, because of the leadership situation of tribal sentiments, Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa. The Yorubas, because they are the people in leadership, trying to push the Igbos back home. And a lot of them are into entrepreneurship. As you can see from Onitsha to Oka, they are erecting structures, factories, left and right. Igbos are good in business. They are not interested in agriculture. If you notice, if you go to the north, like my friend here, I once been in north. You know how the Hausas, how they make good of federal government subvention, to expand in agriculture. They are into serious subsistence, commercial farming, But here, the reverse is the case. All of us wants to go enter main market and go to Mbuko Obosi, start selling pass to make the money quick. As you can see, nothing will make me to go and farm. I'm telling you. So, as a result of that, I don't think that will help. We work here.
Well, thank you. We've seen our street parliamentarians, and then everybody seems to be talking about it. Nigeria is blessed, sincerely speaking. North, east, west, south, wherever you go, this country is blessed. But what we ask for, even if you're blessed and you don't do something to, harness that blessing might turn out to be a curse. And that is what we are talking about here, desertification. Even though in this part of the world, we've not had issues with desertification, but we're still talking about our environment. Yeah, now, talking about capping and then making good the benefit of the excess land we have in the north and the underutilized potentials of it, that's what we want to delve into next, you understand? Because as much as it is, when you turn the map of Nigeria upside down, you discover that the weight of it cannot support what is underneath it. Now, coming to you, Honorable Bridget, the north seems to be food basket of the nation, where we have River Niger, where we have River Benue. Everybody says food is cheaper there in the north, but it can be better if our government becomes more intentional. Israel is arid, yet they plant one of the best tomatoes. You don't see Israel asking for food from any part of the world, but yet there was even a period 3-4 years ago we were importing beans from Burkina Faso, which is a landlocked country. So how can government become intentional against these natural disasters that we do have? Even though we are not having the tsunami and the earthquake and the rest of it, but we have flooding, we have this issue of desertification, and then we have The other one is political anyway, but let's not go into that. Let's talk about the natural things. How can we, as a people, begin to harness the potentials of this greatness that we have?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We as a government has to be intentional about what we do. I know that for a very long time, a lot of things went wrong, but when we start today, we can gain a lot in the shortest possible time. In the north, they have the landmass. And even in those places that you call the drought-prone areas, there are plants that can actually thrive in those places. Yeah. Things like jatropha. There are plants, and and that is why if you go to the far north, you see that this shea butter. There are plants that, that stands, the intensity of the weather and needs just a little water to sustain.
When you say shea butter, you mean ukuma?
Yes. So, and that is why today shea butter is the world, the richest body oil. Cosmetics, it is used. And that is why Nigeria, those that have it, that use their own to do, maybe by that time they didn't know that shea butter could have that kind of value. But today they are reaping so much money. So what we are saying is that no land can be definitely, useless. All you have to do is to find out which plants, can be resistant. Yeah. So you find those plants and gradually you mobilize those communities because it is also their own portion. That is their world. Wherever you are is your world. Those people that found themselves in those areas have to be supported with technology, supported with, with even the plants, and when they are engaged, by the time it, they will now own those projects. And when they own those projects, in the shortest time, they start to reclaim their land and they start to make money, and food will start to come from those ends. Okay. So intentionality, budget line, both federal government, state government, and local government, and then international communities. And companies that find themselves in those places will also play their own corporate social responsibility. This is something that we don't, most companies around that will see, those that, one of the companies that just declared their profit a few days ago, those are breweries. They will make all those profits, and the people, they cannot put something down, part of their profit. So seeing that some of these things are done.
Thank you so much. Right. Talking about noble things people have actually done, just like you're talking about where you stay, you make your place, you understand, habitable. We have Joseph Penyang, known as the forest man of India, who single-handedly planted 1,360-acre forest in Assam, home to Bengal tigers, Indian rhinoceros, and the rest of it all. So the guy created a new ecosystem in that region, single-handedly, in India, single-handedly, you understand? Up until the time he even got notable international recognition. I know this might sound like a far cry to what is obtainable in this area. I believe that when, just like Honorable said, when people become intentional in doing something in their locality, it doesn't take much time for governments to, you understand, now mirror in and also keep, how can we help you? Or even international organizations, because with the advent of your phone and everything like that, technology, you can gradually. And this thing happened when this young man was 16. He did it for more than 30 years.
Before the world even knew.
Before the world knew.
Because there was no communication.
Yeah, exactly. So you can imagine creating a full ecosystem in an area. So part of what we are doing here is sensitizing people, just like Honorable said. I guess when I go out today, I'll definitely go buy myself some seedlings and then contribute to.
I will tell you what I did. Okay. I was trying to do to put my plastic to use. My waste plastics, expired plastics. So I use them to put black soil, and some of them I put soursop seed, some of them I put a pawpaw seed, some of them I put different seeds. And by the time, and we started to water it in my corridor. And this season I have over 10 or 20 plants to plant. Do you understand? And then also,
we are running short of
okay,
time.
please, let me just say one thing.
Okay.
The community, Anambra has a good structure. We have women PGs in all the communities. So let us mobilize them and let them mobilize their people.
We are coming. You're going to conclude with that. Let me first of all go to Mbam and find out, because we're looking for solutions now for all the things we have talked about this morning. Let us see how we can manage our environment for us to be better for it. In what ways can technology be used to monitor and manage land degradation? Because you are from Nesra, you should tell us that. Okay. Yeah, Abam.
Technology?
Yes. Is this just a natural way that we see it, and then the way we have been applying it for the 50 years now?
I think, to me, in my own opinion, the best way to manage land now, as it is now, is going to afforestation and reforestation. Because, afforestation is different from reforestation. When you talk about afforestation, it's planting of trees where there has been no forest. That of reforestation, where was forested, but it's no longer a forest now. You replant again. So I think that's the major solution. Okay. Yeah.
All right, then, Madam, in conclusion now.
Okay.
I know you are from the NGO.
NGO. So
no, okay, that's why I want to.
From Chika Rita Okosa Foundation.
Yes, that's
and
why
they are promoting climate change. They are partnering with ASTEMA to actually.
Okay, before you continue, tell us how involved these civil societies are, because I know that there's the other time you were talking, you said that you went to see the governor. That's this thing that they call lobbying when it comes to
advocacy,
especially in environmental issues. Okay, so how are these NGO involved in making sure that we'll have good environment?
I think the NGO has actually done a lot, especially when it comes to flooding. You know that Anambra has experienced a lot of flooding in the past few years. Even areas that that are not prone to flood came, and so since this foundation came, they have put in, some NGOs. So now, today we have a coalition of NGOs that are talking from all the local governments that are prone to flooding. So we have advocacy to governments and also to our communities, because the community must be able to salvage themselves before government come.
Okay.
Where you are is the most important place. Your home is your world, and if you keep it, you will remain there. If you neglect it, you will run and go and stay in and become a refugee.
Stay where people that are taking time, we're intentional in keeping the environment very okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. I'd like to thank you for coming to join us this morning, Honorable Bridget Obi, Anambra State, former Commissioner for Women Affairs. And I must say that you have not even changed, because I think I was in secondary school then. Look at how beautiful and how strong you are looking. Maybe when we'll get out of there, you tell me your secrets. Okay?
Living in nature.
Yeah.
Taking care of nature.
Okay.
When you take care of nature, nature
takes care of you. Yes, I remember one governor said that the nature you abuse today will abuse you tomorrow. Definitely. So I know you are also here representing Barrister Chika Rita Okosa Foundation. We would like to welcome you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, AJ.
Well, we also want to welcome you in no small measure. That's talking about our gentleman here, the Nesra evangelist. That's what I would like to call you here, Nesra evangelist, because you're evangelizing and our environment,
and
taking care of.
Even tell us what they're doing today.
And the one they do every Thursday too.
Okay, they
you
do
understand?
it every Thursday.
Exactly. So
okay, let's go.
The fact that you're doing this good job, definitely, I believe, just like Ijoma said, that when you take care of nature, nature definitely will take care of not just you, but your entire household, because it's a conscious thing that you do. I want to welcome you, Mr. Wilson, ABAM, State Coordinator, National Environmental Standards and Regulation Enforcement Agency. How well do you guys enforce?
How well?
Do you guys enforce?
In fact, on the 28th of May, this month, we carried out, this is June, right?
Yeah.
Last month, we carried out enforcement in Anambra State.
Okay.
Just that.
Yeah, at least that is his domain.
How often do you
Never.
do the
No, it depends on compliance level.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll
Thank
have
you.
to go. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us this morning. Sorry if you are here, you're a gentleman. So, Madam Commissioner, it's you that I'm saying this. So, thank you. We'll have other programs coming this morning, and the next one is
Catch the bus.
Catch the Ball.
Don't
So,
go
do
anywhere.
stand by.